students, in today's lecture we will see classification of accounts. Now till today whatever I have done was classification of accounts, golden rules and analysis of transaction. Okay, so today's lecture is dedicated to classification of accounts, but the modern approach. The traditional approach was dividing into personal, real and nominal, which is very important. But in our government textbook, it is given there is one more part which is classification of accounts in a modern approach. Now, when we talk about a modern approach, we talk about classifying into assets, classifying into liabilities, classifying into incomes and gains, classifying into expenses and losses, and the last classification, if asked, then we can write capital. So the modern approach is classifying the accounts into assets, liabilities, incomes and gains, expenses and losses and capital. Capital is very simple. When we talk about a proprietor, when we talk about the businessman's account, when we talk about Shahid's capital account is capital. When we talk about Shahid's account is capital. Hope you understand. Capital is normally not asked. Normally they will give you in exam, classify the accounts into assets, liabilities, incomes and gains and expenses and losses. Now let us start with this. Start with asset. Suppose it is given building account. Now it becomes very simple because you all have understood the logic of assets, you all have understood the logic of liabilities, incomes and gains, you have understood what are expenses and losses. So when we talk about building account, it is an asset. Building account is an asset. When we talk about an air conditioner account, when we talk about a furniture account, when we talk about goodwill account, when we talk about a motor car account, when we talk about a laptop account, when we talk about equipment account, tools account, now these are all assets. These are all assets. Asset account is related to assets. When we talk about debtors is an asset. Debtor is an asset. So debtors account is an asset account. When we talk about prepaid, मैंने सिखाया था, prepaid, any expense which is prepaid rent account is an asset account. Prepaid means you have paid in advance. अगर एडवांस में कुछ दिया हुआ है, then the benefit is receivable. What is an asset? Once again, what is an asset? असेट वो चीजें हैं जिनसे पैसा या फायदा मिलता है. असेट वो चीजें हैं जिनसे पैसा या फायदा मिलता है. ये व्हाइट बोर्ड मेरा असेट है. तुम लोग बोलेंगे सर व्हाई इट इज एन असेट, तो मैं तुमको बोलूंगा बिकॉज ये व्हाइट बोर्ड से मुझे बेनिफिट मिलता है, ये व्हाइट बोर्ड से मेरे बिजनेस को बेनिफिट मिलता है, ये फैन से मेरे बिजनेस को बेनिफिट मिलता है, ये एयर कंडीशनर से मेरे बिजनेस को बेनिफिट मिलता है, तो ये मेरा असेट है. It is not necessary that you get benefit out of asset. It is necessary to get something out of asset. That is money also is important. मेरे debtors, मेरे customers, मेरे से सामान जो खरीदते हैं उधार में, उनसे मुझे पैसा लेना है. So my debtors are also my asset. 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 अरे समझ में आ रहा है क्या? Prepaid rent, भाड़ा मैंने पहले से भर दिया. I have paid the rent in advance. That means the benefit will be receivable. For example, 5 months rent I have paid in advance. 5 महीने का एडवांस में रेंट पे कर दिया. 5 महीना I can enjoy my property. जो मेरा प्रॉपर्टी रेंट पे है वो 5 महीना मैं बेनिफिट ले सकता हूँ because I have paid the rent in advance. So it is an asset. असेट अरे समझ में आ रहा है? एनी रिसीवेबल इज एन असेट, any receivable is an asset, any receivable is an asset, any receivable is an asset. What do you receive from an asset? You receive money or you receive benefit. You receive money or you receive benefit. You receive money or you receive benefit. asset account. क्लियर है? एग्जाम्पल दूंगा तो समझ में आ जाएगा. ओके, देन वी टॉक अबाउट लाइबिलिटी अकाउंट. लाइबिलिटीज मतलब हमें पे करनी है, हमने लोन लिया है, लोन अकाउंट इज अ लाइबिलिटी अकाउंट. हमें क्रेडिटर्स को पे करना है, क्रेडिटर्स अकाउंट पे करना है ना. जैसे कि डेटर्स असेट है तो क्रेडिटर्स लाइबिलिटी है, लाइबिलिटी अकाउंट. एनी पेएबल, कुछ पे करना है, पेएबल अकाउंट इज अ लाइबिलिटी अकाउंट. अरे बराबर. कोई आउटस्टैंडिंग है, कोई बाहर खड़ा है, आउटस्टैंडिंग, कोई बाहर खड़ा है, सपोज लैंडलॉर्ड बाहर खड़ा है, outstanding rent account, outstanding expense, any outstanding which is standing out. Why they are standing out? Because we are supposed to pay. Any payable is a liability, any payable is a liability, any outstanding is a liability. कर्जा account, liability account. अरे क्लियर है क्या? आगे चलते. इनकम्स एंड गेन्स. इनकम एंड गेन, जैसे कि इनकम हो गया. क्या इनकम हो गया? मेरा प्रॉपर्टी मैंने भाड़े पे दिया और मुझे भाड़ा मिल गया. रेंट रिसीव्ड अकाउंट इज एन इनकम अकाउंट. Any profit account, I have received a profit on sale of car. I have sold my car and I have received a profit on sale of car. I have received commission. I have received interest from bank. Any income, whatever you receive, any gain, whatever receive, it is an income and gain account. Hope you understand. Income and gain account. Anything which you receive, anything which you pay is an expense or loss. For example, rent paid. It is not necessary the word paid is given. If it is only given rent account, that is also understood that you have paid rent, not received rent. If it is given interest account, then it is understood that you have paid interest, not received interest. So interest account is an expense and loss. अरे समझ में आ रहा है? कमीशन पेड अकाउंट इज एन एक्सपेंस और लॉस. एनी लॉस मेड ऑन सेल ऑफ एनीथिंग, सपोज यू हैव सोल्ड योर प्रॉपर्टी एंड यू हैव इनकर्ड अ लॉस, देन दैट लॉस अकाउंट इज एन एक्सपेंस और लॉस. अरे समझ में आ रहा है क्या? टेलीफोन बिल अकाउंट इज एन एक्सपेंस और लॉस अकाउंट. स्टेशनरी अकाउंट इज एन एक्सपेंस और लॉस अकाउंट. एनी फीस अकाउंट इज एन एक्सपेंस और लॉस अकाउंट. लीगल फीस अकाउंट इज एन एक्सपेंस और लॉस अकाउंट. Salary account, wages account is an expense or loss account. Hope you understand. Understood क्या? See what we are doing, the modern classification of accounts. The modern classification says assets, liabilities, income gains and expense and losses. So we'll take an example question and we'll wrap up with today's lecture. This is page number 31, sum number 4. Classify the following accounts under assets, liabilities, incomes and expenditure. The first is prepaid rent. Prepaid, anything you pay in advance. Pay in advance. That means benefit is receivable in future. फायदा मिलने वाला है फ्यूचर में. It is an asset account. Salary account is an expense. Salary मतलब खर्चा है. Bank loan is a liability. कर्जा है. Loan account is a liability. Motor car account, car is an asset account. Rent payable, any payable is a liability. Payable is a liability, receivable is an asset. आगे. Bad debts. Now what are bad debts? Bad debts are the amounts which are not recoverable from the debtors. Bad debts are the amounts which are not recoverable from the debtors. So it is a loss. तुम्हारे बिजनेस के लिए बैड डेट ये नुकसान है. ऐसा डेट जो बैड हो चुका है, जो नहीं मिलने वाला है, तो वो नुकसान है. तो इट इज एक्सपेंस और लॉस. कॉपीराइट मैंने सिखाया था ना कि बुक पे होता है सी, कॉपीराइट. इट इज एन इंटेंजिबल असेट, सो इट इज एन असेट अकाउंट. नेक्स्ट इज इंटरेस्ट रिसीव्ड वर्ड ईडी. रिसीव्ड इज एन इनकम. रिसीव्ड इनकम. रिसीव्ड इज इनकम एंड गेन. Receivable is an asset. Received is income and gain. Okay. Next is dividend received. ED received income. आगे premises अपनी property asset. इंश्योरेंस प्रीमियम, हर महीना इंश्योरेंस का प्रीमियम भरना पड़ता है, एक्सपेंस। आगे चलते हैं, ऑडिट फीस, यानी फीस इज एन एक्सपेंस। ओके, सो इतना ऐसा ही प्रॉब्लम था। क्वेश्चन नंबर 5 दिया हुआ है, आंसर भी उसका दिया हुआ है, but that question you all will be doing as a homework. So question number 4 I have done. Don't do that question in the notebook. Do question number 5 and I'll give you some more example questions as homework. Okay, Shahid Neman signing off.